Welcome, folks. This is the intro for Liberty and Cocktails with Carl Higbee, where you hear from the biggest names across the industries, from politics to pop culture. Now, some of you may know me already, and for those of you who don't, I'm a former Navy SEAL, author, commentator, presidential appointee. But recently I resigned from the Trump administration over some things I said on a podcast over half a decade ago. The mainstream media, well, mostly CNN, went to great lengths to put me in a box, to take away my voice, because they determined that a couple minutes from my past should override the actions of my entire life. They sought to disqualify me from the conversation, rather than debate me, simply because they didn't like what I said. I was attacked by much of the media as racist, despite the fact that I was the chief of external affairs for the Corporation for National and Community Service, where I spent most of my time helping urban and underprivileged minority communities. They ignored the fact that I spent most of my high school summers on mission trips to Central America, or that I served in the most diverse military to date. I was called an Islamophobic person for my hatred of terrorists, claiming that I characterized all Muslims that way, despite personally sponsoring a fellow Iraqi soldier that I served with for U.S. citizenship. I was called a bigot for not wanting female Navy SEALs or transgender in the military. I'll admit, some of the things I said were harsh, maybe even out of line, but the First Amendment I fought for does not give you the right to not be offended. I also believe we live in a world where, regardless of your ideology, left or right, we should be able to make mistakes. We can say things that offend, and as a society, we should not reflexively shun, but rather discuss the ideas that we may not agree with. That allows us to grow together as a community, rather than isolating us into these ideological tribes. On this show, if you don't like something, you don't get to shout it down. You have to present a better option and debate why. If you're anything like most of us, you're probably pissed off with the current divide. That's why I'm launching this podcast, Liberty and Cocktails, because I want to have an honest discussion. No script, no talking points, no attitude, no shouting down. This political divide has separated friends and family alike, and it didn't used to be that way. I want to bring us back to the days when we could have a conversation with those we don't agree with, and maybe have cocktails afterwards. We're going to talk about the topics that matter most to you, the American people. The people who get up every morning, go to work, take pride in what you do, and love the red, white, and blue. We want to have a conversation between friends and foes alike. Because honestly, I'm less concerned with who's offended than I am with who's affected. Make no mistake, I'm a red, white, and blue-blooded, flag-waving, meat-eating, Harley-riding, gun-owning dude who just wants to make America great again. So stay tuned for our opening episode tomorrow. Remember to follow me on Twitter, where the conversation will be happening every day. This is Liberty and Cocktails.